before I talk about us, I think they have all the makings of what a national championship team would look like. I don't think there's any question that there's no way to prepare to play against Michigan State and say that you can leave this guy here, you can leave that guy there. They're too good, and they showed that today. I thought Will Sheehy did a phenomenal job on fighting Adrian Payne for space, for his touches, really being aggressive with him. Adrian played excellent, didn't force things, and they just have too many guys right now. And they have too many guys that understand each other at a really high level. They understand how to win. And things that hurt us today, especially in the first half, and we've got to grow out of this because it's getting me downright angry with it. We've got to grow out of understanding how not to take momentum. So we get down 6, we get down 4. That's not a time when you're in the bonus. You're rarely ever going to be in the bonus as early as you are against Michigan State, like we were today. I mean, that's hard. They don't foul much. Every winning statistic, they're really one of the more dominant teams in the country in those areas. So when you find something that's you've got, which is important for us to get to the foul line, then it can't become jump shooting time. And we struggle right now with understanding momentum. We struggle with understanding time and score. Some of it's immaturity, some of it's youth, some of it's just not understanding the ball needs to go through the paint. Noah Vonleh is going to continue to get better. There's no doubt he's got to become a more demanding presence. And he works too hard on his game. He's too good a person. He's got to be a demanding presence and become downright a little selfish. And I hate using that term, but I have no better term than to use for him with that, because that's what he's got to be around the paint. And we scrapped back in. We played a lot of different lineups to get back in the game. We played hard, okay? They played smart. And both teams played hard. I thought there were great battles on the boards, especially with the fact that it's a 2-rebound difference. But their maturity, their experience, their understanding of each other, that was a big difference in the game. The biggest difference in the game. That's why they have a chance to win the national championship. And that's why we have a lot to learn. Go ahead.
Dustin?
You just mentioning Noah, I guess, when you've watched him on film, when you watch this game, I guess, how often is he open in the passes that make it to him, and how often is he not creating the space he needs?
Well, I think it's both. I think he's learning, and he's going against physical people. There's no question about that. And he's getting better out on the perimeter, but he just got to be, we've got to do a better job of creating a passing angle sometimes when they're backed off us right now. I mean, it's no CNN news flash that we're not a great three-point shooting team, so you're not getting all-out pressure. Even though they had some guys today that they decided they were going after, just like we have guys we want to go after. And a little bit of it is creating the space, putting them in different space. Our screening in the first half was sub-zero. Without having the grades and without doing the grades myself, they weren't good enough, on actions. We're trying to make it simple to get it in, but we've got to be better. I mean, they're a physical, imposing team. There's no question this was an old-style Big Ten game in the sense of the physicality in the post, probably on both ends. So, no question about that. And we just got to learn to deal with that. We've got to learn to deal with that, keep creating those angles. But Noah's got to get more than one offensive board, too. I mean, let's be honest about it. We've got to do a better job of making sure that we're getting putbacks. We've got to find easy baskets, whether they're post-ups, whether they're through the lane, whether they're offensive rebounds, or frankly, whether they're free throws. Being free throws. So those are things that are really important. They attacked our dribble today like we attacked theirs, and they had more guys that could make shots when the ball went outside, and we didn't. And we've got to continue to grow and learn from those things.
Are you specifically talking about that stretch late in the first half, I think, where you cut it to 1 and they scored 5 in a row? I think you had them in the double bonus. You want
Absolutely.
guys to run the offense?
Well, I want us to attack the rim. Yeah, so some of it's offense, some of it's reversal. We talk ad nauseum about points through the paint. I mean, constantly. And whether it's timeouts, whether it's halftime, postgame, and we've just got to play. We got great kids. I mean, we just got to have a basketball IQ, a basketball maturity right now. And that's where the understanding is not there yet. that, no, we've got to drive it to the rim, get it swung, get it inside, get in the paint. You know, a great example, Jeremy Hollowell scores a 2, breaks it down, goes to the rim. Then we're trying to go inside on the second side on a reversal play, one of our sets, we take a 3. That's not it's not a time or place, you know, for a guy shooting in the teens to be shooting a 3 when we're down 6. You know, those are the things that we've got to learn from, just being completely blunt about it. So we will. I mean, we continue to come back, and we played a lot, you know, we played different, but we were going to have to play a great game to beat them. And our first half hurt us. In the start of our second half, we scrapped back, but we never could get over the hump inside that end of the first half, beginning of the second half, without having the book in front of me, or knowing the book.
You had a quick timeout early in the second half. Was that just to make sure that you didn't have a Syracuse situation?
I don't remember. Yeah, probably. You know, yeah, just change our lineups. So, you know, when you've got young guys, I mean, the reason they're so good, they don't have to rely on anybody young. You know, that's why this league is so good. The great ones just keep being experienced. They add new players, young players, but they've always got experience to deal with. You know, we've got to grow through that. Our sophomores have to pick it up. I mean, there's no question about that. And all the way around. And again, Will was phenomenal. Okay, and it was the one leader that we had, you know, inside of this game. But he could do more with his voice. But he was in a, when you're guarding Adrian Payne and you're giving up that kind of size and weight, you pretty much in a one-man battle right there. You don't have a lot of other things you can focus on. But that's how we have to play. I mean, that's how we have to go. We felt like anything different, we could be in foul trouble, you know, from the very beginning of this game.
What was working for Stan, particularly offensively? I felt like
Aggressiveness, just being aggressive. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no, I mean especially offensively. I know he guarded Harris a lot, but it seemed like he was just more comfortable and maybe even a little more control.
I wish we'd have got him on Harris quicker in the first half, to be honest with you. You gotta, Gary was an assassin today, and never hunted, always in spacing, always in movement, very improved as a player. We'd covered that a lot, but you got to match a guys like that. The guys' desire to compete in the game. Stan did that, but his offense really came on just action, activity, aggressiveness, break, things like that.
Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, just how in general are you seeing him grow up the last couple of games?
Stan?
Especially Stan.
Going into the Illinois game, the previous 7 games, he had our highest plus minus, and it wasn't close. So there's a good example, and he's what he's doing, and I asked him to do this a couple weeks ago, and I don't want it to be a technical, but again, I got to look at that on film. I mean, it was a chippy game all the way across the board, so I'm not going to overreact to that. But he's got a personality, he's got a toughness about him, and he's building his skill level. You know, you're always working and building your skills, but you're developing your mindset. You know, and it comes, your skills get better, well, that helps the confidence. But a lot of times just bringing out the personality and doing what you know and doing what's always worked for you. I mean, a year and a half ago, he was basically a foreman in high school. And that's why they won so much. You know, he came from a great high school program at Paul VI. Then he went off to Findlay, and he won a lot and played against a lot of exposure, and here he is. I mean, we need him to be a blue-collar, just go-at-it guy, because that's what he is, and he's doing more of that for us.
Tom, what do you need to see more from Jeremy?
Oh, we need to see more from everybody after today, Pete. I wouldn't just distinguish. When you lose a game, it's there's not one class that doesn't need to get better. But we got the spotlight on the sophomores right now. I mean, if we're going to break it down in class, they've got to improve. Everybody's got places they can grow in, and shooting the ball, passing the ball, you know, those types of things. But we just need to we just need to play. You know, we need to play, and we need to understand time and score. Not play just going up and down the court, but really understanding what the game is bringing. The more you play, the more you learn that. I mean, I get that. I hope all of you get that. I hope our fans get that. I mean, the more you do it, the better the understanding you have. I mean, it's not like we can all of a sudden put 3 months of Big Ten basketball into these guys' bodies. I mean, we can show them all the film we want. I mean, it doesn't work that way. But we got to start to understand time and score and momentum, because that's what so many of these games come down to throughout the game. And, I know, we're pretty good on the break, we're pretty good at offensive rebounding, we gotta be pretty good in the middle. Michigan State is pretty good on the break, they're pretty good at offensive rebounding, they're really good in the middle. And that's really a microcosm of teams. They're really, really strong throughout each possession. They understand time and score. They got a lot of guys that can make plays. We've got to continue to trust what works for us. And when you're in the bonus the way that we are, we've got to understand that. And that's what we've got to continue to just pound on and expand upon in practice and in coaching and in film work and all those things all the time. We got to understand that sometimes we're just going to have to make some changes in the game with the personnel that's on the floor to get that understood.
Last question, Dustin?
You obviously mentioned their shooters earlier. You guys have defended the three really well this year.
Yeah, I don't even know. I haven't really looked at the stats. Let me see. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
They had 10 threes. I mean, just what, how much of that was just them hitting the shots? How much was you guys?
Big mistakes. I mean, couple times, especially the ones when we fouled. I mean, we're leaving. You can never let this happen when teams don't understand it yet, which we don't. You can never let the speed and the pressure of the game override what is really, really important with like the scouting report. And no, I mean, Travis Trice was shooting 74% from three in the away games. We probably said that about 37,000 times in the last 3 days, okay? You don't leave him. Oh, we had a senior leave him. You know what I mean? You don't do that. I mean, you got to understand, we got the dribble picked up, all right? And we just didn't play with great awareness on some of that. And then a couple of times we misplayed screens. I haven't looked at the film, obviously, but we misplayed screens. But a little bit was just overhelp, and not get back out. And just, we stopped understanding, we got the ball covered. Okay, don't leave the shooters. And the other day we were really good at that. I mean, that's part of the youth process, I guess, because the other day we held that team to 11% from three. And we didn't help off shooters, and they had outstanding shooters too. Today we helped too much. We got too much in the scramble. And frankly, we played some lineups that we don't play very often, as you probably know. But I mean, you throw caution to the wind and you're trying to get back in the game.
Okay. That's it, Coach.
What else? All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.